Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue, bienvenue. Oh, vous parlez français? Ah, c'est génial, c'est génial. Quelle merveilleuse soirée. Yes. I see we like French here. Yeah. It's a nice language, right? It's cute, it's romantic, it's comfortable. ولكن عندما نتكلم باللغة العربية من أهم لغات العالم الناس يخافون منا. Oh, y'all got silent really quick. Did I say something wrong? You seem a little scared. But why is it when someone speaks an unfamiliar foreign language in front of us, we tend to fear, hesitate, and get uncomfortable? It seems today we tend to flock and be around those who look, talk, think, and behave like us. Welcome to America. America has a problem: cultural segregation. In the 1930s, the federal government started redlining neighborhoods in certain areas, color-coding them on maps and claiming them to be unsafe, hence segregating Black American communities from white suburban neighborhoods. Now, as immigrants started integrating into the US, particularly those of Black, brown, and adjacent identities, they fell under those same exclusionary and divisive procedures. This not only caused a lack of opportunities, access, and resources of those underrepresented groups, but also a lack of learning and integration within one another. Even in New York City, one of the most diverse, multicultural cities in the world, every ethnicity, race, country, culture transitioning around each other, yet at the end of the day, we go back to our homes of comfort, our communities of comfort, our communities alike, whether we share the same skin color, the same religion, the same language, and even the same aesthetics and features. We tend to flock and be around those who look, think, talk, and act like us. Now, that is also a result of a very powerful and dominant ideology today. It exists in America and in other countries on different levels. It exists within your own communities. It even exists within us, and we don't even realize it. White supremacy. A spectrum has been created throughout the years. The more proximity we have to whiteness and supremacy, the better we will be perceived and treated. Yet the more proximity we have to Blackness and justice, the worse we will be perceived and treated. I think y'all need a moment. In that moment, reflect individually, all of us. Where do I fall on that spectrum today? And consider this: if we realize and acknowledge our positionality in this world, as we are interacting and connecting with people of different backgrounds and learning about their intersecting identities, their lived experiences, and their advocacies, we start developing an understanding and empathy of their treatment and mistreatment in this world. Throughout my research, studies, and travels, I came across a tool that also exists within every single one of us. It breaks down the barriers around you, exposes your minds, hearts, and eyes to the stories and people of the world. A tool that can help us fight against cultural segregation. A tool called cultural curiosity. Nothing new, it's not rocket science, but cultural curiosity grants you access to a passport, a non-physical passport, a non-tangible passport, a visa-free passport, right? Global citizenship. You will be living in the world, in multiple countries, from where you are seated here today in your own environment, by connecting with humans of different cultures right around you and foster powerful relationships with them. I remember the first time I was culturally curious. Little boy, born and raised in a small town called Bzomar in Lebanon. I always felt like a foreigner, an alien in my own community. So television and TV series were my escape to an alternate reality. This one time, I came across this Greek television series for some reason. And as I was watching the show, I started mimicking the behavior of the actors and started speaking what I thought was Greek. My mother noticed that interaction as she passed by me. She comes to me and she says, Jad, شو بك؟ احكي عربي. Jad, what's wrong with you? Speak Arabic. I looked at her and I was like, Brathos matemos calimera? I was so immersed that I forgot to speak my native tongue. You see, for my mother, it was the fear of the foreigner, the fear of the unfamiliar experience. Yet for me, it was a natural curiosity, a natural immersion into a new world. Today, I speak 5 languages and connect with people from all over because of that curiosity. Mm. But let me ask you this. Are you allowing your learning in life to be consumed by unfamiliar and foreign experiences? Speaking of learning, years went by and I decided to travel to New York City to pursue my higher education at Parsons, the new school. First time in New York, first time in America, no friends, no family. You can imagine how that was. In one of my classes, my former teacher, Neida Martinez, a Puerto Rican woman from Chicago, asked us to introduce ourselves to the class. When it was my turn, I started speaking about my cultural upbringing, my Lebanese mother and her horrible cooking, my Palestinian father and his corny jokes. Mind you, at that time, I did not know that later in life I would discover a cultural heritage connection to Haiti. But even so, I expressed how I wanted to connect with different communities and find a sense of belonging. Neida was so amazed by my story that she comes to me at the end of the class and tells me, Jad-Évangelo, you are my son. You're Puerto Rican. Girl, what? Listen, I was so happy to hear this. Imagine years later discovering that you're adopted and being excited about it. A new mother and a new ethnicity? Yo soy boricua, pa que tú lo sepas! Ah! But I knew what Neida was telling me. She saw a son in me, and I saw a mother in her. We saw a family within one another because of our cultural admiration. We started hanging out, dancing, cooking, and we also had a very serious running joke where Neida would tell people that her and Ricky Martin had a romantic affair and they conceived me as a child. Neida also met my biological mother, Ghada, when she came to visit me from Lebanon. Are you inviting people into your world? Are you allowing yourselves to be invited into people's worlds and discover new families? Now, I'm a solo traveler. I like to go to different places around the world and immerse myself. Back in January, I was in Trinidad and Tobago. While there, I connected with a driver to whom I paid for his services to take me around the island. Baron. Big personality. Loud, expressive, smiles, laughter, and obviously a stallion. Ladies, to answer your question, he is single. There was that one moment when Baron and I were driving down from the beach. I was in the passenger seat eating a bake and shark sandwich, one of the best things I've ever had in my entire life. If I tell you I was having the most intense orgasm eating the sandwich, I was like, oh my God. Woo! This is so good. I know, very dramatic, very theatrical, but very real. Baron, observing this dramatic scene, could not stop laughing. He turns to me and he says, I am going to have so much fun with you on this trip. The native of this land, the local, being entertained by the tourist? You see, when we travel, we tend to travel for leisure rather than immersion, expecting the royal treatment in our all-inclusive resorts and our hotels by contributing to the economy of the locals. But when was the last time we entertained them? When was the last time we gave them leisure, put them on a pedestal, restored their narrative? Baron felt seen, acknowledged, empowered as a Trinidadian man by observing my appreciation for his country. He was the star of my trip, a true Trini to the bone. Baron was Trinidad and Tobago. Come fly with me to the other part of the world, Europe. There was a time when Palestine and Congo ran into each other in a cafe in Paris. I was sitting there having a coffee wearing a traditional Palestinian scarf, a keffiyeh, a necklace that I bought from a merchant on a beach in Trinidad, and a t-shirt of one of my favorite R&B artists, Aaliyah. A few tables across from me was a young gentleman, Lane. He noticed my outfit from far away, and then he comes and he tells me, I'm sorry to bother you, but I love your style. Everything that you're wearing, I wish I had my camera to take a picture of you. Lane is Congolese, Brazzaville specifically, and the citizen of France. Who would have thought that a simple act of courage and curiosity, and next thing you know, an unexpected rendezvous, sharing a meal, sharing stories about our travels around the world, our families, our countries of origin. We even addressed anti-Blackness and how it shows up in society, how Lane and I would be treated differently if we were walking down the streets of Paris late at night and get stopped over by a police officer. A lot of feelings in that moment. But then it hit me. Is it possible for cultural curiosity to break down stigmas in this world? In a world where men are judged and criticized for sharing emotions with one another. Yet here we are, two masculine-presenting strangers from faraway lands bonding, a sense of camaraderie and brotherhood. Lane is my fellow global citizen. You don't have to travel to become a global citizen. You can access global citizenship from where you are seated right here today in your own environment. As simple as going to the bodega across the street from your apartment in Brooklyn and having a conversation with the owner who is from Yemen, or attending Haitian Flag Day celebration in Miami, Florida, and learning about the history of this festivity, or simply taking your Japanese colleague out for lunch and learning a new language. Do you like to invite your friends and families over for dinner every now and then? Do you? Right? You do. Come on, we're hospitable here. Right. Don't lie to me. Yes. Let me ask you a favor when you leave this theater today. Invite your neighbor who's from a totally different culture, different country, into your homes for dinner. And when you invite them, are you simply expecting their dish from their culture for your own pleasure? Or are you willing to invite their story, their history of war, their facial expressions that may make you feel uncomfortable? The West Indians and West Africans in the room know what I'm talking about, right? Facts, right? You see, people love Black American culture. You love Beyonce, you love hip hop, but when it comes to Black pain and Black struggle, where is the love? People love Middle Eastern food and cuisine from the Arab world. You love your hummus, your kebab, your grape leaves. But when it comes to the turmoil in Sudan, Palestine, and Lebanon, we look away? We bat an eye? People love Caribbean festivals. You love Carnaval and dancehall and soca and compas. But we fail to amplify Haiti, the first Black republic of this world, a country that liberated itself from its oppressors and offered liberation to its neighboring countries, a symbol of freedom and resilience. We ignore it? When we are connecting with people from different backgrounds, we should be connecting beyond the superficial, beyond the music, the dance, the food. We should connect with their stories, their histories, their trauma. We should connect with their wins and their triumphs in this world. You know what is common in my relationship with Nada, Baron, and Lane? All three of those are powerful, non-traditional relationships formed simply by cultural curiosity. I would like to invite you with me on this journey today to tap into your cultural curiosity, existing in each and every single one of you. Break down the barriers around you. Step out of your comfort zone. Expose yourself to the stories of this world. Get over the fear of the foreigner, the unfamiliar experience. Imagine the friendships you will curate, the business partnerships you will form, the romances you will empower, the families you will find. Come get this passport, y'all. It's free. Global citizenship. Cultural curiosity grants you access to global citizenship. You will be living in the world in multiple places from where you are today by connecting with humans from all over. Cultural curiosity can end cultural segregation in America and around the world. Thank you.